Parents expected to pack tomorrow's Jersey City School Board meeting to express their outrage over a last-minute decision to cancel in-person learning for the remainder of the school year. The school board superintendent says there's just not enough staff to bring the students back, but the teachers union says that's not true. One mother we spoke to earlier this week says she's going to fight to get her 3 children back inside of a classroom.
They let our students down, they let our teachers down, and then they expect to just sit back and not get any repercussions from it.
Jersey City Mayor Steven Fulop called the last-minute change a failure in leadership. He is joining us live to share his frustration with the superintendent's decision. Good morning to you, Mayor. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always. This really angered a lot of people. Were you as surprised as the parents when a robocall, that's how it went out Sunday evening, canceling plans for in-person learning after parents had already started to make plans to send their kids back to school?
Yeah, so it's really a disgrace. I mean, the superintendent for several months told parents that we'd be back in person this week, and then didn't tell anybody, sent out a robocall on Sunday night and abruptly said, change of plans, we'll try again in September. And it's a failure on the elected board, it's a failure on the superintendent, and we're just pushing them to revisit this decision.
Let me ask you first and foremost right here, because I think some people get confused when they hear superintendent. In New York City, the chancellor is chosen by the mayor. How is a superintendent put in place right now, and do they keep in communication with you?
So it's an independently elected board. I have no oversight of it, and they select the superintendent. They have their own ability to set taxes. They have their own ability to set their own budget. And normally we try our best to be helpful and communicate. The challenge here is that you look at every other city around us, including New York, including Newark. They've been able to offer an option for in-person learning. Jersey City not being able to do that is nothing short of a failure.
Yeah, so let's go through some of the numbers right now, because there were some, we're getting 2 different stories, right? The superintendent says there's not enough staff. Last week, 458 people actually called out on Thursday, 500 called out on Friday in terms of staff. Pix 11's Andrew Ramos, one of our reporters, spoke to the president, though, of the NJEA, the union, who says teachers are ready to get back to the classroom. Take a look.
Yeah.
My estimation is around 3,000 of us are here, ready, willing, and able to work.
Are there enough teachers, right? That is the question, to get schools reopened.
Yeah, let me put this in context that I've had an up and down relationship with the teachers union. I try to call it out when I disagree with them and be supportive when I think they're right. And in this situation, they are right. There's more than 3,000 teachers that were willing to show up and about 8,000 students that opted for in-person learning this week. So there was more than enough students. The teachers union is right in this situation. It's just the superintendent didn't prepare adequately with buses, with clean buildings, with services that were needed.
So even with those call-outs, last week, there were enough staff to handle in-person learning.
Look, the numbers speak for itself. You have 3,800 teachers that normally service more than 3,000 students. There were 6,000 students that opted to come back and 3,000 teachers that chose to come back as well. The numbers work in any way that you look at it.
Okay, 2 things here. Do you think this decision will stick? And can you, as the mayor, override the superintendent's decision and say, you know what, we are going to reopen schools?
No, we don't have the legal ability to do that. There's a huge public outcry from parents. There's going to be a huge rally from parents tomorrow at the Board of Education, and they are pushing for a lawsuit similar to what you've seen in other districts. So we'll see what they want, and then we'll go from there. But in-person learning is really essential. You see deterioration in mental health from young people, from parents. And again, you know, Jersey City really needs to have this.
So do you think this decision will stick for the remainder of this year?
I'm hopeful not. I'm not willing to give up. We're going to continue to push and fight for in-person learning this year.
All right, lastly, I want to shift topics to what the country is talking about this morning, if you don't mind. I know you were here to talk about schools, but we saw the verdict come down yesterday in the Derek Chauvin trial. That has put a laser focus now on police reform. You're the mayor of a big city, the mayor of a large police force in Jersey City. What do you see as police reform? It's a loaded question.
Yeah, it's a loaded question. I mean, look, we're going to continue to work with the community, working on accountability, disciplinary matrices so that people can understand how we discipline our police officers, making them more accountable, more supervision, more transparency. We've been working with the community on that. We're going to continue. Yesterday's verdict, obviously, I feel it was a good one, but it shows that there is accountability and justice in this country. And hopefully, this is just the beginning of real reform that you don't have to read about Black lives that are continuously dying at the hands of law enforcement that swore to protect them.
Just the beginning of reform. I think that says a lot right there. Mayor Steven Fulop of Jersey City, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Have a great day.